Hey guys, Jedi here. This video is going to be the long-awaited full guide on piece control. It's going to include a lot of stuff ranging all the way from the most basic aspects of piece control all the way to some very advanced tips and some showcasing from pro players as well. So whether you're a new player or a seasoned veteran in the Fortnite scene, this video should have something for you. So what is piece control? Piece control is taking control of contested building pieces and placing your builds where you think your opponent will want to place theirs. This will allow you to control the pace of the fight and control when and how the engagements happen. So now that you know what piece control is, let's talk about some different aspects of piece control. The first one we're going to be talking about is knowing the building grid. The building grid is the most basic knowledge you can have when you play Fortnite. After all, it is the very core mechanic on which Fortnite gameplay is based on. And if you've been playing Fortnite for a while, this should mostly just be common knowledge at this point. But for example, I'm talking about when you can build walls a layer above your 1x1. You can place walls through ramps and through cones. And obviously the cones and ramps will cancel each other when you place them. But it's not just the basic knowledge of the building grid that's going to get you good piece control, it's some advanced stuff as well. Here are a few examples. Placing high walls when you're ramping over opponents can allow you to keep up your momentum and stop your opponent from blocking you off. I have a video on this topic as well, it will be linked in the description down below. Another example is placing a cone above a wall or above a ramp so that you can block off your opponents with the extra reach that cones provide. Once again, I also have another video on this topic. It is called the Flyer Cone video, and it will also be linked in the description down below. Hopefully, I've established knowledge of the building grid and the building mechanics as an important part of piece control. But it doesn't matter how mechanically gifted you are, if you don't know what to do with your mechanics, you're not going to be able to outplay your opponents. So the next part we're going to be talking about here is predicting your opponents. Predicting your opponent is not something that can be taught through a video and just me talking to you necessarily, but more so from you playing through it yourself. So I would say that predicting opponents comes with experience as you play, although I will recommend box fights as they are a great way to practice both your mechanics and knowledge of the building grid and predicting your opponents. And even though I've said that I couldn't teach you to predict your opponents, I'm going to give you guys a few tips anyway. Fortnite's FOV favors the right side of your screen, so opponents will typically exit a box to their left because that's where they are standing. Opponents are also pretty likely to exit through their back. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is side jumps are typically done to your opponent's right. Once again, this is because of the FOV. Side jumping to the right is a lot easier than side jumping to the left, so expect your opponents to make their side jumps to the right when you're fighting them. Now that we've established the two core concepts of piece control, I'm going to give you guys some tips to help take your gameplay to the next level. The first tip is to think three-dimensionally, and what I mean by this is think outside of the box and find different angles that your opponent might not expect you to take. For example, if you have the top and the wall to your opponent's box, maybe you open the wall and you shoot them, but instead of opening the wall again when they're waiting for you to do it, you jump up and you open the roof and you shoot them from there instead. The second tip is to place builds before shooting whenever possible. What I mean by this is if you pull up on an opponent who has an open wall or an unprotected building piece, instead of just shooting them through the open space, try and take the build first so that you can get more opportunities on them than just the one shot. You should be using piece control to put your opponents into unfavorable positions such as your box. For example, the Box Like Fish video from Reisshub goes over some different scenarios on how to do this really well. Piece control can also be used to block or limit movement and prevent your opponents from escaping, and we'll go over some of these examples in a second. Now that you have most of the knowledge you need, before I send you off, I want to go over some gameplay from some of the top tier pro players in today's Fortnite scene to show you guys how they utilize the core mechanics I was talking about throughout this video to outplay their opponents. So here's a format for a little mini VOD review session. First, I'm going to show you guys the clips at full speed, then we're going to go back and break down exactly what happens in each clip. The first player we're going to be looking at is Nosh. Let's take a look at some of his gameplay right here. Alright, so now that we see how he killed his opponent, let's go ahead and take a look at exactly what happens here. So first, he uses his knowledge of the building grid, as you guys can see, to place a cone above his opponent's head. Right after this cone is placed, he immediately goes for this wall because a good opponent will try and place this wall the instant this happens to protect themselves. Placing this wall, he makes the edit and he gets a free shot on his opponent. He resets right away, and you notice that he uses the momentum you can get from this cone down here to jump up and immediately go for this double edit right here. I mentioned before that when an opponent is in danger, they often exit either to the closest wall, which is typically to their left, or through the back of their quote-unquote 1x1. Here you guys can see that Nosh does predict his opponent moving back in this direction, so he goes for a double edit right here. After double editing, he places this cone. This prevents an opponent from placing a ramp above their head to protect themselves, because the cone does cancel out the ramp placement. After placing this ramp, he immediately goes for these walls right here. The purpose of these walls is to limit his opponent's movement if his opponent was to be caught in the box. His opponent is obviously not in the box here, so he goes for an edit out. And this next part is really cool. I actually have a video on this exact topic. A newly built wall here is going to be really low HP right after you edit, so he uses his tack, which is pretty good for breaking walls, to break this wall right away. And right after breaking the wall, you see that instead of just going for a shot, he knows that his opponent wants to go up. You can see the direction of my mouse cursor here. His opponent wants to go up. So instead of doing that, he places this cone right here, which blocks off his opponent. You're going to see his opponent's head actually hit the cone in a second, indicating that he actually would have jumped up if Nosh hadn't placed a cone. And in addition to this cone, he also places a wall here. This is not really necessary at this point. It's more of a safety procedure to make sure that his opponent does not actually get away. You guys can see that his opponent was phasing the floor because his opponent was trying to get up right there, and the cone blocked him. That gave him a couple free shots and the free kill. This next clip is also from Nosh. We're going to take a look at it right now. Alright, and that's actually one of my favorite clips that I wanted to really talk about in this video specifically, because it is an example of just extremely high level piece control. So we're going to go over it bit by bit once again. The first thing that happens here is his opponent, Strep in this case I believe, is trying to take this wall. They're in a realistic one versus one. This is not in a real game situation. He gets this wall. This is actually pretty common when someone's breaking a wall for an opponent to hold the wall instead so that they get it. Right after getting this wall, he edits and places a cone straight away. This cone stops his opponent from placing a ramp or their own cone to protect themselves. His opponent is now completely stuck in this box. They don't own any of the building pieces. He has a free shot, and he's immediately holding his wall behind so that when his opponent shoots back, the wall is not broke. The wall is going to get broken, but he's going to keep control of it. His opponent goes for an exit out through this door. Now, this is actually kind of a good prediction, but because his opponent only has one way out, which is this door right here, because once again we already established that his opponent does not actually own any of the other building pieces. Now this is kind of crazy. When he edits this wall open, which he placed by the way knowing that his opponent would go for it, he places a cone here. Now this cone might seem pretty simple to a lot of you guys, but it's actually like just an insane level of piece control. You notice right here that his opponent goes for a ramp, but you can tell from his movement and the way his opponent was looking straight forward here that his opponent was planning on placing a ramp over in this position to protect himself from Nosh's shotgun. The cone prevents that completely. You can see in his movement right here, he's kind of looking down, meaning that this player is trying to place a ramp in this position, but he can't because there's a cone here, which leads Nosh to getting the second free shot. He's already done like 100 damage for free. So triple edit, just some casual, basic, good mechanic stuff. Goes for this wall here. Predicts his opponent potentially moving out this way. Goes for a double edit, and you notice right away, a cone right here. He also realized that Strep had not placed a wall here, which means that the wall was actually completely empty. This is a must do if you're playing defensively. You must always have building pieces all around you, because a good opponent will recognize when you don't and take it. You guys can see here that Strep did not have this wall pre-placed, so Nosh recognized that, came over and got it. After opening this, he notices that his opponent is about to exit the box. He's about to go up to the right here. You notice that he could have gone for the shot straight away, but instead of going straight for the shot, he places this metal wall right here, and this is huge. If you look at the orientation of his opponent and the way his legs are working, Strep is trying actively to exit the box, but now he can't because Nosh's piece control has limited him and forced him to stay in this position for a free shot. And my bad, that was chaotic the whole time. GG's only. Next clip, once again, also from Nosh, but we'll feature some other players in a second. This should just be a short, quick example because it is kind of simple, but I just wanted to show it off. You guys see, he goes for a high wall off his, I don't know if it was a 180 or what it was, but he goes for this high wall. So he gets this. He places a floor and a cone above his opponent, stopping him from going up. Places the back wall here just in case his opponent was about to exit out to the back. Now his opponent does recognize this, and he does have good piece control. You can see here he goes for this wall so that he can edit through, so Nosh can't actually block him in. Nosh does get the free shot, however, and Nosh has recognized that his opponent is out to this box right here, but his opponent hasn't placed a wall here yet. So he goes out, and he places this wall before his opponent can, and suddenly he has a free Mongrel Classic on an unsuspecting opponent and the free shot. And something that I actually have to commend here from his opponent is that his opponent does something that I mentioned in my previous piece control video, which is really important, which is placing this wall before actually exiting. His opponent's intention here is to place a wall, edit through, and then exit, which is a lot better than trying to exit straight away. We saw what happened in the last clip with Chaotic, when Chaotic was trying to leave without placing a wall first. Nosh placed it and blocked him in. Alright, moving on from Nosh, now we have a clip from Benji Fishy. Really simple, it's from like a pretty old montage of his, and obviously it is not with the current meta, it was actually from Chapter 2, Season 2, but it still holds up in the current gameplay, I believe. So his opponent's pressuring his wall right here. Instead of healing, Benji decides to just, I'll just go for the kill. Opens up this right-hand peek and places a cone. You can see his opponent is jumping to try and get out. If you're tired of getting coned in these situations, I actually have a video on that, and it will also be linked in the description down below. If you guys notice a pattern with how a lot of videos I've posted before on my channel help out a lot with piece control. Gets coned, gets a clean shot off. Now his opponent is trying to exit because his opponent is in a really bad situation. Goes for the exit. Benji edits and places a wall here, which is huge. His opponent is most likely trying to do a side jump up, up here somewhere, and suddenly he's blocked off. You can see he's looking the completely wrong way. He's looking like a clown. Benji gets the easy kill. So a lot of those were examples from real game and realistic gameplay, but now we're going to take a look at some box fight highlights featuring Clix. Clix is definitely one of the best box fighters in the game right now, and I would definitely recommend watching his gameplay for great tips on how to piece control your opponents. This first clip here is on Destroy. I believe it was the real Destroy. We're not actually sure about that. So Clix is pretty low here. He goes for a heal. He does the thing that Benji did in the last clip, which is coding his opponent. Right away, Destroy is in a really bad situation. Clix gets the 100 tag on him. Destroy does place a really good ramp here, which is showing off his also big brain piece control. Placing this ramp here, kind of like the Bucky ramp. Once again, also another video on my channel, guys. The Bucky ramp will block off your opponent who is trying to do a peanut butter edit on you. So now next thing that happens here is Clix loses control of this wall, and he uses the same idea that Nosh was using in the very first clip, which is shotgunning your walls before their walls so that you can take them. I also have a video on this. Oh my god, I can't go over this enough. Shotgunning a freshly built wall and then pickaxing it straight away will allow you to take the wall without the opponent actually realizing. It allows for much quicker wall taking. So Destroy obviously doesn't know this trick because he's trying to heal or something there. Clix shotguns the wall, and then the wall is one pickaxe because of the shotgun shot. Opens this wall, places a wall behind to stop Destroy from backing out. And bam, easy aimbot destroyed, dead. Alright, got some more VODs. I know we've been through a lot of VODs at this point, guys, but I think there's just so much to learn for piece control. I think this is all worth watching. So, what happens here in this next clip is Clix jumps in, gets a nice kill. Now, he's about to exploit in this box. His opponent is exiting once again. Watch my first piece control video if you haven't already, because it teaches you how to properly exit your boxes. His opponent does not place a wall here before exiting. So when Clix exploits through, he recognizes immediately that there's no wall here, jumps through, places a cone. If his opponent had been in this box, he would have been screwed. But he goes for this wall as well. Suddenly his opponent's stuck. He doesn't have this wall because he didn't place it before. The cone there as well does miss his shot, which is unfortunate. Gets a white tag. You notice that also after this cone breaks, Clix has the quick thinking and the fast mechanics to place it back himself. The thing I like more about cones is that it doesn't allow your opponent to actually drop down. If you were to place a ramp here and edit the ramp or something, his opponent would still be able to edit the floor and drop down. But the cone completely takes that away from them. And then obviously from there, it's just an easy kill. This next clip from Clix is not actually so much about what he does to his opponent, because that's a simple wall taking, but it's actually something that you guys might not have noticed that happened right at the beginning of the clip. Right here, Clix was making a massive prediction play. Instead of going straight for the opponent's wall, which he does later, he places this wall here. This is also something that a lot of players don't know, is that you can place this wall down here from all the way up here. Edits and places a cone. Now if his opponent decides to drop down, he's going to land in a box that Clix has control over, and Clix is going to be able to get a free shot on him. I also assume that Clix actually has this wall right here as well to stop his opponent from escaping. So after he gets his wall first try with his macros, places a cone and gets a shot on his opponent, the fight continues and Clix will obviously win the round. Alright guys, this clip is going to be the final clip of our VOD review part of this video. And what a way to end. That's, once again, a perfect example of immaculate piece control, good knowledge of the building grid, and thinking three-dimensionally. This is actually like one of the biggest parts of this video I want you guys to take away, is thinking abstract and finding different ways to go at your opponents. You guys here, his opponent has this wall, is popping the fish. Clix realizes that, one, it would take way too long to go for this wall. His opponent will easily heal up and think of another thing to do. He could go for this wall, but with the way movement works and the right FOV, would take way too long. So he edits this cone and jumps up and goes for the double edit here. His opponent is not expecting this at all. To be fair, they should have had their roof covered, but they didn't. Clix was thinking three-dimensionally. He was thinking, I don't just have to fight him on this layer. I can go up another layer and then edit down on him. As he edits down, normally players will place a cone here. He goes for the ramp as well, but you'll also notice that players always go for this piece after a double edit nowadays, because his opponent, once again, could block themselves off and protect themselves. He goes for this ramp. His opponent is now completely screwed. 200 to end the round. That may have been too many videos to go over, but hopefully it showed you guys exactly how to use piece control to outplay your opponents. Once again, you guys will notice that a lot of things that a lot of pros do, like a lot of the tips that I explained in this video, have all accumulated from some past videos that I have made. So once again, all those videos will be linked in the description down below. I think they're all useful in their own way. If you enjoy content like this, if you think my content is useful for you, please consider leaving a like on this video and subscribing to the channel. Clicking that bell notification for videos just like this one when they come out. In addition, I worked really hard on this video and I would really appreciate it if you guys use code JEDI2X in the item shop. The battle pass does come out tomorrow, and if you have my code in the item shop when you do buy the battle pass, it will help me. And so that would just be a really great way to support me for free. I'd really appreciate all of you who do it. The last thing I want to add is that this video was actually made because a lot of you guys requested it. So I do stuff that a lot of you guys comment and ask me about. So if you have any video ideas, if you have a video you want to see me make, please let me know in the comments down below and I'll see if I can get to it. That's all for the video today, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.